I keep getting frustrated because every time I ask my child to do something simple, like clean up their toys or get ready for bed, they push back or try to negotiate with me. Why can't they just follow directions without arguing? This man, here's another one. If you have felt this way, please like this video and subscribe all the time. Parents are asking, why won't they just do what I say? And then I have to show them the other side of the picture. Children practice on us. They find the safe people in their lives and they practice new parts of their mind, new things that they've learned. They try things that they've seen on TV or heard about on YouTube or whatever it might be. All of that is in their head, and they want to try out different things, but they have to find safe places to try those things out. Children, when they are pushing back on us, they are trying out being independent. And the way that you respond to that is very important, because think of it this way. You don't want them to argue with you every single time that that you ask them to do something. But do you want them to think about everything that might happen, and do you want them to think about whether they really want to do something when their friends are trying to tell them to do something? Do you want them to push back, and do you want them to consider everything that could happen when an adult you don't trust tells them to do something? Kids are trying it out, and if we just shut them down and tell them they need to, for instance, follow everything that any adult ever tells you to do, that can end up in some pretty bad situations, some really negative situations. There was a parent who came into me, and their goal for their child was for their child to just follow directions from adults. And I had to work with them to change that language to say, follow directions from adults you trust. And that even means that I need to earn the child's trust, and that I need to earn the parent's trust, and that a teacher needs to earn a child's trust, because children can be told to things by adults that we do not want them to do. So just because someone is an adult does not mean that a child should follow their directions. And in this question, if a child is pushing back against you or trying to negotiate with you or asking why, that is very encouraging developmentally, because it means that they are not going to just follow everything that everyone tells them to do. So the way that you respond to that, and the way that you are letting them practice on you as their safe person, is going to be how they develop that skill and are able to use it in the future. So rather than just shutting them down and saying, you do what I say because I said so, you can talk with them. For instance, let's say it is about cleaning their room. Maybe that is something you said, pick up their toys, clean up their toys, or get ready for bed. Let's go with clean up their toys. So when you say, hey, it's time to clean up your toys, and they say, I don't want to clean up my toys. Why do I need to clean up my toys? Instead of saying, because I told you to, you can talk to them and you can say, well, what would happen if you don't clean up your toys? And they might say, well, somebody could trip over it and get hurt. Oh, yeah, you're right. Somebody could trip over that toy and get hurt. Or somebody might step on it and it could get broken. Or, you know, if you leave it out for too long, it might get shuffled around and it could get lost. And we don't want any of those things to happen. So it's time for you to put your toys away. Do you see that that is helping the child develop the skill on their own to understand what's going to happen if I do this thing and what's going to happen if I don't do this thing? And that's what we want kids to be doing. They practice pushing back against us because we are safe. If they push back against their friends, they don't know if their friends are going to be around another day. If they push back against their friends could be like, okay, well, I'm just not going to hang out with you anymore. That's not safe. A child doesn't want that to happen. So they practice on us because they know we're not going anywhere. But we have to develop in them the way to use that skill. Not just shut down when they try to negotiate with us, and shut them down when they try to talk to us about things, or shut them down when they even just push back. It's our job to help them understand and develop this thinking process so that they can make better decisions for themselves in the future. So that when their friend says that they need to do something that you don't want them to do, your child in their head can be like, well, I wonder what would happen if I did that. I wonder what would happen if I didn't do that. Are there any other options? Okay, here's my choice. Rather than just following along because they never got to practice pushing back and negotiating. Pushing back and negotiating are very healthy skills and important skills, and they are skills that you want your child to have. So help them develop those skills instead of shutting them down because you're just frustrated they won't follow right in the moment. See it as a learning opportunity and see it as a way for them to develop this very important, developmentally appropriate skill. And if you'll see it that way, then you can help work with them so that over time they can make more positive choices and push back against those choices like peer pressure, or push back when someone tells them to do something that they know is wrong or something that makes them feel very uncomfortable. They will have that skill built up in them. If it's the first time that they've ever been able to push back and it's a friend who's telling them to do something, they're going to do the thing their friend told them to do. But if they've been able to practice and you've worked with them on this skill, then when their friend tells them to do something, they'll be able to push back appropriately and they'll be able to give an appropriate response when the time comes. Help your child develop that skill. If this answer was helpful for you, make sure to like this video and subscribe, especially on YouTube, but on all of the social media channels. It's at Mr. Stu TV everywhere. And thank you so much for writing in that question.